I drew this one earlier in the day, and I didn't quite like it, but I think they're moving along. I think the top of the head's not far enough up, and the feature's not right. But so I decided I'd draw another one. And here's another one I drew, and I put the face further forward so I could try to get the ponytail in the back, but I did not get it in there. And so I'll probably draw this one again later. You know, it's a process, and each one of them, for me, they seem to all look a little different. So I don't know if I'm copying the exact works that Leonardo da Vinci drew or something similar to it. But it's a great journey all the same. And so this is a portrait of a princess, a young princess, done by Leonardo da Vinci, and there's a painting of it as well. I think before you can do paintings like the ones he did, it really is important that you know how to draw well. And that's what I tell my students. You need to really work on your drawings. Leonardo da Vinci's work like this, as I've said time and time again, has been emulated throughout all of history. And so I can't think of anybody better to try to emulate and try to draw like than him, because other artists copied him throughout the Renaissance and after the Renaissance, and other artists just copied copies of what other people had done who had copied him. And that has been true throughout all of time so far. So I don't think it's a waste of time. I believe it's a good exercise, and I hope to try to draw several drawings like he did per week. And I make a lot of mistakes, so here I go, and I'm drawing this a lot faster now because this was like all of 20 something minutes. But I mean, I think you get the idea that I put a lot of effort into it, and I want you to do the same and really work on it. Okay? So you can watch this and get an idea how I did it, and if nothing else, you'll see that I put a lot of effort in it, and that's what I want you to do when you draw this, is to put a lot of effort in it. And it starts out okay. I'm kind of blocking out where I'm putting everything. I'm using a technique I use where my left hand finger is able to, my index finger on my left hand, I point out certain areas, and then I try to draw those areas. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just breaking it down into smaller places for me to draw, not the whole thing at one time. So by doing that, I'm saying just draw here, and this is in proportion with all of this other thing. So that's coming along pretty good. I could probably just stop right there, but you know, I want to push these drawings, and sometimes when I do, they don't work out quite right. But that's okay. I mean, the whole learning experience along the way. And one of my favorite things to do is just smudge and then try to bring out highlights. So when I smudge, I create midtones, and then out of the midtones, I can then pull highlights with the erasers on my pencil. And I go through a lot of pencils, but pencils are fairly cheap, so I'm not really worried about it. I'll just get more pencils, and I just use copy paper because that's what a lot of people who are just starting to draw use, and I think that it's not the greatest paper, but it'll work for this, and you can get a good idea how to draw like Leonardo da Vinci if you just practice. But you have to go through the drawing of it, and there will be ugly points in your drawings where you're just like, I just need to throw this away. But don't. Just keep going and put in lots of effort and study his drawings. And if this one don't work out, make another one. And if that one don't work out, then you make a different one. But that's the main point I try to get across to you, is just keep working. So you can watch this, and I will not be talking. There's not really anything I can say. I can't tell you where to put an eye in or where to put the mouth in. That's just through practice. It'd be like trying to tell you how to ride a bike in words. You kind of have to you really just have to get on the bike and ride it, and you'll get a sense of it. So not drawing drawings will not make you better. You need to really just practice every day. Now, I don't draw on the weekends at all. I just use that as time to contemplate what I drew throughout the week. But during the weekdays, I try to draw, and so lately I've been drawing Leonardo da Vinci's work, and then later on I'll probably draw other artists' work as well. But I'm really enjoying trying to recreate his style right now. I don't think I'm anywhere near where I need to be, so I keep going. I have found some other artists' work, like Raphael's work, where he drew a man, and I may do one of those in the near future, because he actually emulated Leonardo da Vinci's style as well. So him and Michelangelo. So I'll probably draw some of his also, but for right now, I'm really enjoying drawing recreations of Leonardo da Vinci's drawings, and I'm learning a lot. So I don't think I'm anywhere that I could say I really know what I'm doing. So I'm blocky and clunky, and it's just going to take a while, and I may never get there. But it's like I said, it's the journey in what you're doing. You cannot get better at this by not doing it at all. So that's what I tell you. Get out the copy paper and your number 2 pencils and draw this. I think it'll be good for you to learn how to do a profile of a person from the side. And this is the one that he drew called The Young Princess. Now right here I'm getting stuck on the eye. I want to get that eye just right. Because I think that's the most important part of the drawing for me, is getting the eyes right. If you don't get the eyes right, you might as well just stop working on it. Now at some point I just stop working on a drawing anyway, because I will overwork it. And I have overworked lots of drawings, and so you need to just at some point just stop and go, okay, I'll draw this again, but this one is done. This one is done, and I'm not going to do anything else to it. And you'll see some of the shiny areas on the paper, and that's just copy paper. Copy paper is terrible to draw on, but it's better than paper with lines, and so don't draw with paper that has lines. It's just not good paper. So I'm working on this one. I think it's coming along. It doesn't look like the one I'm drawing now that I'm looking at it after I drew it, and I'm thinking, even as I'm drawing this, I'm noticing this one doesn't look like the one I'm drawing. It's a little different than the one that he drew. So it's going to take me a while to get her portrait down. I may never get there, but I'm okay with that. You do your best, and then if you feel like you need to draw it again, draw it again. Now if it doesn't look right, you probably do need to draw it again. But just move on to the next one. Each one you'll learn a little bit. I learned some on every one of these that I do, and I think you can learn quite a bit by drawing in this style. It just takes time. You just have to be able to put effort in. Like I said, I think this one took me all of 20 minutes, but I've speeded up the video so that it doesn't, because I am not drawing that fast, but I have speeded up the video so you can see the whole video in less time, because I don't think you need to watch me painfully draw this all of 20 minutes, but I do think you need to spend at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes on a drawing or more. You could spend several hours. There's some I've spent hours on, and then when I'm done with them, they still look terrible. And I'm just like, well, I think I'll draw something else. And then I'll come back, maybe draw that one again later. Because after you draw for so long, you just need to stop. So I know I'm saying stop drawing. So after you've drawn for over 20 to 30 minutes, for me, it's a good idea for me to just stop drawing for an hour, maybe 2, before I try to draw another drawing. Because I believe it just doesn't work for me to just start a new one right away. I kind of have to just look at that one I just did and see what I could have done to have made it better. And that's what I do. You'll see me stop and just look at this one from time to time, and I'm seeing what I can do to improve it. Now those that netting, I think that's a netting on the back of her head. I thought it was braids, but I really think now that I've studied some of his other works, I think that's netting. And I don't really believe I do it justice, but that would take hours more to get each and every one of those little hair nets to look right. And so I just didn't do it on this one. I may do it on the next one. See, because if that looked more just like her, I probably would have. But I know right now this is not going to look just like the picture of the girl. So me putting in a lot of work on that hair netting, it's just not going to be worth it. So if it looked more like her, then I would. And so all I'm doing is try to emulate his style, and I think it would be good if you did as well. Now it won't make you, you'll still have your style of drawing, but I think you'll be better at it. Now look, I noticed here at the top of his, and I looked at the painting itself, and you can see it more in this copy that I made with a photocopy. Right near the top of the head, it looks like there's a lighter streak that goes across the top, and that's like sheen on hair, like where the light is being reflected off of it, and you see that more on modern drawings than you would on like something that was done in the Renaissance. But I think it's just barely noticeable even in this photocopy. I may be totally wrong. I haven't seen a whole lot of his drawings where there is a lot of sheen on the hair. He does it in a very subtle way around in the curls. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong on this. But in this one, I've noticed there appears to be a sheen effect near the top of the head. And so I tried to put some of that in there. I think I did too much of it. But anyway, the drawing, it's at a certain point, this one's just about done. And there's not much more I can do to it. And if I want to try to make another one, that's fine. I'll put this one up and I'll look at it and I'll go, ooh, that's terrible. I should have changed that. But this is what you do. You just look at your drawing and then you see what you can do to make it better.